Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it.
Squatch it!
At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
You remembered.
It's one of the things I was so excited to be back for. I was like, I don't think anything's... Come on, do it. Ruper's, come on, Ruper's. Thanks, Ruper's, for your continuous support of this program and my opportunity to chime in.
Just in case you don't recognize the voice, we have the pleasure of being joined in studio today by Shanna Cox, who is the former president and CEO of the Lewiston-Auburn Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce. She is no stranger to this show, as she has been a monthly guest ever since we started.
I know.
And then you took a couple months off. You left the chamber. You're pursuing a career in local office. And you're also the founder of Project Tipping Point, which was established 10 years ago.
I know.
So we're going to talk all about that.
Can't wait. It's so good to be back.
It's going to be so weird talking to you about non-chamber stuff.
It's so exciting.
But we will throw this in. You are a new member
Yeah.
of the LA Metro Chamber.
Yeah. And they continue to do great things. Their kickball is coming up this weekend.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a fun and hot day. I haven't looked at the weather forecast, but I hope it's clear for y'all.
Oh, Pam is ready to go.
Yeah, are you in shape? Are you ready?
I'm not in shape.
Who's ever is in shape for, I'm sorry, but past a certain age, which by the way is like high school graduation for me, for sliding into home base?
No, I'm not sliding.
No one's ready for
Never.
that.
I don't.
That's not about shape. That's about padding. Yeah.
Paramedics are on duty.
Yes. I can say this now
Stand
because
by.
I hope you win. I get to have favorites. It's so great. I hope you guys win.
You can come and cheer us on.
Yeah, I saw there's a beer tent. I'm going to be at a campground on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
birthday week.
We're going to talk to Shanna all about Project Tipping Point and a whole lot more coming up here in just a bit. But before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Monday, July 20th.
Maine Secretary of State Shanna Bellows and former Maine CDC Director Nirav Shah have dropped out of the race to become the Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate. Bellows said she will focus on her responsibilities as Secretary of State, citing accelerating attacks on democracy. Shah released a statement saying the Democratic Party must be unified to defeat Susan Collins and endorsed Troy Jackson. State law requires Democrats to select a replacement nominee by July 27th.
Taylor Farms has recalled shredded lettuce products from 27 states amid an investigation into the cyclospora outbreak, which has caused over 1,600 illnesses. Cyclospora is a gastrointestinal illness caused by a microscopic parasite. Its signature symptom is explosive diarrhea. In my estimation, it's got to be the worst kind of diarrhea.
Just the fact that it's explosive and that's the only way it's ever, it's described by medical professionals. There's a whole category of it.
I can't think of any worse diarrhea than the explosive variety.
It does not sound okay.
No. Thankfully, Maine was not included in the recall.
Good Shepherd Food Bank has invested over $570,000 in unrestricted grants to food security organizations. Beneficiaries include food, school, and hospital pantries, meal sites, and shelters. The investments come during a time when there is more than 35% decline in USDA food programs.
And the LA Repair Cafe returns to the Auburn Public Library on Saturday, July 25th from 10 a.m. to noon. The event invites community members who like to fix things to volunteer their services to those with things in need of repair. The goal is to reduce waste, save on cost, and promote repair culture in the community. For more information, visit auburnpubliclibrary.org.
That's a neat idea.
That's awesome.
Love that.
Now it's time for the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
Shanna's over here doing a little dance.
Jazz
I think she
hands.
missed our jingles.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I do listen in from home, you guys, I promise.
Plenty of sunshine today. We'll have a high of 80 and a low of 55. Cloudy tomorrow with some late evening showers. High of 75 and a low of 59. Morning rain gives way to cloudy skies on Wednesday with a high of 79 and a low of 65.
I know it's early in the week, but have we checked on kickball weather? Let's see. It looks,
I have.
Oh, sunny and 80.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Friday looks amazing.
That's a perfect day.
Yeah, that's going to be great. In sports, Sonny Gray gave up just 1 run over 6 innings, and Wilson Contreras hit a 2-run homer to lead the Red Sox over the Tampa Bay Rays 6-1. What? Get this, folks. The Red Sox have won 13 straight. 13 in a row.
Games.
They haven't lost in 13 games.
Are you jinxing it now?
I hope.
Yeah, knock on something.
And they've also won 18 of their last 20 games. They are by far the hottest team in Major League Baseball, and they will host the Baltimore Orioles tonight at 7.
Whoop, whoop.
I think the Orioles have won 7 straight, so something's got to give tonight.
Yep. Well, someone has to lose.
Someone's got to lose.
Hopefully
It's the Orioles.
not the Red Sox.
No ties in baseball.
The World Cup final was decided in extra time as Spain forward Ferran Torres scored in the 106th minute to defeat defending champion Argentina 1-0. The next World Cup will celebrate the tournament's 100th anniversary. It will be held in 2030 and hosted by Spain, Portugal, and Morocco.
Spain had a goal called back because someone stepped on someone's toe. That's illegal, apparently. And then
Also unavoidable in soccer? No.
then they scored a goal that counted, and then they scored another goal that didn't count. So it was a whole thing, but glad Spain won. They deserved it. The West beat the East 28-26 in the 36th annual Maine Shrine Lobster Bowl Classic on Saturday. That game was held in Lewiston. Bonnie Eagle quarterback Colin Moran was named Most Valuable Player, and the event raised $317,650 for Shriners Children's Hospitals.
Ooh, that was a close game. 28-year-old British runner Josh Kerr ran a mile in 3 minutes, 42.66 seconds. That's fast.
That's insane.
Breaking the previous record of 3 minutes, 43.13 seconds, which had stood since 1999. Whew!
I cannot even fathom how fast
neither.
that is.
Kevin was actually telling me about that this weekend, and I was like, wait a minute, is that his, like, how far did he run for? I didn't realize it was just the mile. So I was like, was that his average pace? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
At the peak of my powers in my early 40s, my best mile was like 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
That's pretty good.
And this guy did it in just about half the time.
I cannot imagine that.
That is insane. But yeah, congratulations to Josh Kerr. That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for July the 20th, shall we? All right. You can always tell. Pam previews the list before I say that.
It's like meh. Today's meh.
I can always tell what she thinks of our FPB subjects by the way she answers that question. We're going to start off with Carlos Alazraqui, who is 64 years old today. He played Deputy Garcia on Reno 911. But more importantly, he also voiced the Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Taquito Taco Bell.
That one right there, yes.
Pretty much nailed that.
Donna Dixon is 69 years old today. She played Garth's dream woman in Wayne's World. She was also on Bosom Buddies, which starred a young Tom Hanks back in the day. Donna Dixon was also married to Dan Aykroyd from 1983 to 2022.
That's a
Wow.
long time.
Yeah.
I almost made it 40 years.
Almost. Guitarist Carlos Santana, 79 years old today. In 2023, Rolling Stone named him the 11th greatest guitarist of all time. He's won 10 Grammys and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998. And rounding out FPBs for July the 20th is Kim Carnes, who is 81 years old today. Her breakthrough came in 1980 when she partnered with Kenny Rogers for the duet Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer. And then she had a big solo hit, Betty Davis Eyes.
Love that song.
Back in 1981. Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day.
Did you miss that one too?
Yeah, I did. Got to be honest with you guys. It's good to be back here amongst all the jingles.
Pam was so hoping you'd say no.
I was not.
The air guitar at the end there is just like you live for it, right? Like,
Just love the high note.
yeah, you got to make the face. Got to make the face like you mean it.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, 32 years ago in 1994, O.J. Simpson put up a $500,000 reward for the capture of his wife's real killer.
It's unfortunate that OJ is no longer with us.
Yeah, it worked out for him.
It
Not having to pay that.
42 years ago.
Nope, I'm going to snort. Sorry.
All three of us tried to keep a straight face.
Nope, no. It lasted like 3 seconds for me. I didn't have it. I apologize. Go on.
42 years ago in 1984, The Never-Ending Story hit theaters. Oh, that was a great movie.
I was really disappointed to learn that it was only an hour and a half. This is what Pam has to put up with on a daily basis, Shanna.
She's still standing, too. It's really impressive. That was good.
Thanks.
Timeless, even.
That worked all
Mark
more.
thinks he's like a professional comedian
It's
or
so
something.
wild, right? And then people go and pay. Right?
They're like, what did I pay
Yes.
for? What was that?
Joke's on them.
There's a line at the door for refunds after. It's a crazy scene.
53 years ago in 1973, martial arts legend Bruce Lee died unexpectedly at the age of 32, just weeks before the release of Enter the Dragon. A legend.
He was amazing. And that Enter the Dragon movie, groundbreaking.
I haven't seen that, I don't think. 57 years ago in 1969, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin became the first men to walk the moon at 10:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But
was
did
today?
they? But did they?
Allegedly.
It's hard to see when the world's flat.
58 years ago in 1968, Paul McCartney found out that his engagement to Jane Asher was off when she announced it on BBC TV show called D-Time. McCartney was watching at a friend's house and was taken by surprise. Whew! That's rough.
Poor Paul.
Yeah, poor Paul.
That's a tough way to do it, though.
Yeah.
It is. It'll get you some publicity, though.
61 years ago in 1965, Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone was released and became his first major hit.
Never heard it.
No?
How does it feel?
My partner Chad does an amazing Bob Dylan impersonation. Sometimes he'll do Bob Dylan doing other songs, and I live for it.
He should do karaoke.
He should. You should convince him of that.
82 years ago in 1944, President Franklin Roosevelt was nominated for an unprecedented fourth term at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. He won the election, but died 11 weeks into his fourth term in April of 1945.
That's a lot of terms. Are you for term limits?
Yeah.
Good. I'll vote for you.
Thanks. I am for yes. Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Those are your FPBs and OTDs for July the 20th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Looking for a vehicle, but don't love the car shopping experience? At K&R Auto Sales on Center Street in Auburn, Frankie Campbell is known as your friend in the car business. That means no pressure, honest conversations, and helping you find the right vehicle for your budget and your life. Stop by K&R Auto Sales today and see how easy buying a car can feel when you've got a friend on your side. And now we shift focus fully to our guest in studio, founder of Project Tipping Point and new chamber member, Shanna Cox.
I'm so excited.
You're so excited.
I'm coming back to the chamber too. So the first time that I opened my business, I was a chamber member then as well. And so it feels really great to come back.
So was your business put on hold while you were running the chamber?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was fortunate to be able to use a lot of the same skills regularly so that I didn't get, rusty and out of shape, if you will. But yeah, I actually went out on my own in 2014, doing a lot of the work that I do under the Project Tipping Point umbrella, but took about a year and a half to really formalize my approach to my business and my business structure and put my brand together. And so Project Tipping Point itself was established in 2016.
Let's talk about Project Tipping Point, because before we started recording, you were like, do you guys want a little overview of what exactly it is that I do? And I was like, no, let's all learn together.
Let's explore.
Yes, because I'm sure our listeners will appreciate that as well. So what can you tell us about Project Tipping Point?
Yeah, so Project Tipping Point is a consulting practice that I have where I work with individuals and groups of people to support strategies. Like fundamentally, it's about having a thought partner in being strategic and figuring out how to approach things. That shows up in so many different ways and has looked really different over the years. But I think fundamentally it comes back to my experience and my skill being able to work with folks through hard things, trying to kind of make sense of complex situations, trying to figure out the best way to approach something. Historically and kind of at my core, it really does center making sure that you're having impact, like meaningful impact. I work with clients who are also committed to like doing good in the world. And that can look like a private sector employer or a C-suite trying to figure out how to support their employees or implement a significant change or just put together a 2 or 3 year strategic plan that kind of guides their next steps. But making sure that those folks are showing up for their community, their business, their sector, and their employees. I'm really fortunate to work with really great people. And that's kind of the through line through all of the different ways that my work shows up.
Makes you love your job, I bet.
I love the people that I get to work with. I love the work that I get to do. And some of my early work, and part of the reason that I went to the chamber, when you do strategic plans, when you're working with people to support them kind of crafting a strategy, you do that work and then you wish them luck and then you leave and they implement it, right? And so, I think the most important part of the work that I do happens long after I'm gone, and that's where the real impact happens. And so, we're 10, 12 years out from some of that work, and I get to see how those plans that we put together are actually doing. And I love to showcase the work that Main Street Skowhegan and Skowhegan is doing. So all of their active riverfront, their economic development, their kind of trails and recreational programming of their downtown and river spaces. That's a plan that we worked on and engaged the community in and supported their chamber, their Main Street organization, their health organizations. And I get to stay in touch with Christina, and every once in a while I'm just like, you're killing it. Look, it's like you're well past the last page of this plan and really living into something that's really meaningful for the businesses and people of that community. And it's really awesome to watch.
Who is seeking out your services?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say I have a couple of different client kind of personas, if you will. Pretty consistently, it's founders or entrepreneurs who are somewhat early stage and trying to figure out kind of like what to do next. And sometimes that looks like trying to figure out the best way to like physically form their business or find resources that might be able to help them get started, thinking through their own ideal kind of market, customer, pricing and business structure. So that's a group of folks who are kind of early stage. I would say the other is folks who are kind of established executives who, and I know this firsthand, when you get to the president and CEO level, you spend a lot of time wondering if people are going to push back on you. If you can have somebody who's going to honestly like poke holes in your ideas, somebody that you can be vulnerable with about how hard it is to be in that role without people somehow thinking that you're not capable. And that's, I would say any leader is always fundamentally struggling that. And then wondering if the advice that they're getting or the people that they're talking to are trying to keep them happy and trying to stay employed, trying to tell them what they want to hear, or if they're getting like really solid advice that lets them spot a mistake before they make it. And I think that's where I come in as a thought partner and an executive coach. And so there's a whole bunch of folks that I work with that like our work together is really quiet, right? Like I would say there's a lot of folks that I work with that my work with them is really quiet, and it's so that they can be completely confidential and be able to really express kind of the parts that they're struggling with. And I having worked with groups of leaders, having been a leader in so many different formats, nonprofit, for-profit, over more than a decade and a half now, it's universal. We're all just people. Like we start the day and we end the day with our fur babies or our loved ones. We, find ourselves looking at the mirror, poking at something that's new that we hadn't seen before and don't like. Like we're just human. And when you're in those positions of power and influence, you can get really isolated in feeling like there's somebody else that you can really have that conversation with. And so there's, some coaching services that I do that is definitely within the kind of strategic, figuring out strategies, but really just being like an honest thought partner who is not going to be, in any way confused or concerned or hesitant by your power influence. And it is a much rarer thing, I think, than people realize that it is. And there is a need for that.
Yeah,
there's just
definitely.
like to be able to trust that like, you're going to tell me I'm about to screw up and no one else will. That's actually highly valuable, particularly when you're thinking about making significant investments or of your time or of your resources. Like that's not a small piece. And then I would say the third place where I do a lot of work is with groups of people, usually who are tackling complex issues. And sometimes this work is a little bit more sustained. And so sometimes it's coalitions where you're engaging like public-private partnerships. Sometimes there's legislators at the table and there's community leaders at the table and there's business leaders at the table, and they all have their own stakes in their own organizations or businesses, and they're trying to address economic development in a community or poverty, or they're trying to tackle hunger and food systems. And so over the years, I've done a lot of work with coalitions and groups that are kind of at the nexus of those things where no one's going to solve that problem. No one's going to figure that thing out by themselves. It is going to take multiple people sitting around a table trying to figure out what can actually move the needle, and for them to be able to do it in a way that's somewhat aligned, but is aligned because it is of self-interest. And I think that's a piece that sometimes people are uncomfortable talking about, but the reality is if you're going to get 10, 100 people to stay committed to doing something that is outside of their day-to-day work and job description, they're going to do it because something that's happening in that space is going to improve some aspect of what they do have direct responsibility for. And that might be community and quality of life, it might be the bottom line of a business, but there's got to be some self-interest. And we have to be able to talk about that so that you can engage people in the areas where they have interest and work from those common areas to like actually do things, get things done, right? So that's the long and short of it is I think it's leaders, right? Like that are trying to make change.
How did you come up with this idea for this business?
It's funny. I think the universe came up for it with me, and I listened after probably far too long of not listening. I started my career almost 2 decades ago doing community organizing for housing. And in the work of housing, I saw this like intersection with public health. In Lewiston, we had still do, but we've made a lot of headway. It was the highest rate of lead poisoning in the state. And so the biggest source for the lead poisoning itself for, little tiny kiddos, birth to 3, came from them like being in their natural environment, which is the floor, and lead dust being on the floor. And so just realizing that this physical environment, housing, and for a lot of folks, the majority of folks, it's rental housing, that they don't have full control over whether the porch has been painted or just there were so many folks who were dealing with lead poisoning of their children. And so we started to tackle that issue from code enforcement, working with landlords, making sure tenants knew how to maintain that dust can be dangerous and how to take care of it. That work led me to seeing that housing is like public health, and that public health has education outcomes, and that those education outcomes, if we aren't successful at intervening in the right places, actually there's a through line that goes all the way to the increased likeliness that a kiddo who was lead poisoned at 6 months, 12 months, can have a higher chance of engaging with our criminal justice system and actually having lower lifetime income earned over the course of their life, which that's a sad story for an individual, right? When you look at that at a community scale, like a community like Lewiston, where you can say, wow, we could have community-wide depressed economic outcomes because of choices we were making a full generation ago. And right now we could be making choices for the next generation. And that has all of these, right? So in that work that I got to do, each piece just kind of propelled me to seeing how the work that I was focused on kind of related to these other areas of work. And it drew me to my next job in my career. And in each of those, people would say to me, you have this really unique way of helping people see eye to eye when they don't. And you have this ability to talk to different people in their own kind of vernacular, the way that they talk amongst themselves, and get them to find some common ground. And that's really unique. It is, I think, how I've always lived my life. And so I didn't see it that way. So I started to listen to people say that. And so in 2013, I decided to finish my degree. And that required me to commute to Orono 2 days a week and do a whole bunch of online work. And my kids were 8 and 10, and I couldn't, like so many other people, I couldn't afford summer camp for 3 kids. And so I made the choice to leave my job with full benefits and predictable biweekly paychecks and go out on my own and support some of the work that I had been supporting in community, both as a volunteer and in my paid roles before. And folks were willing to pay for those skills. And that's when I was like, oh, maybe I could do this. And so, yeah, I continued to invest time and energy and resources into expanding my education and expanding my network, and, tried to listen to the universe when it shoved me in any particular direction.
Can you take us back to that day or decision when you decided to leave your job?
Terrifying.
At the time, were you a single mom?
Yeah.
With 3 kids?
Yeah.
I can't
imagine. And what's wild is, so that job, which was Community Concepts, so I was working at that job, and I'd worked there for about 2 years, and I had been brought in to be a community developer, and that looked like a lot of things. It looked like, some physical community development work, but it also looked like developing a sense of community, and so nurturing some collective work that was happening in community in a couple of different issue areas. One was the New Manor Community Collaborative. There was a child care and early development collaborative that I was a part of. There was a neighborhood housing. I actually started a multilingual newspaper for the community called Bridges. I think it was 2013 maybe. And so every job I had had for the 10 years prior to working at Community Concepts, I had always had 2 jobs at a time. And so Community Concepts was like this, white collar milestone success moment where I could like live and raise my kids on one job. And that was wild. That was a wild experience for me because for the majority of their life, I had always worked 2 or 3 jobs. And so in that time, in those 2 years, I volunteered outside. And when it came to, like, there was this moment of I would need a second job to be able to pay for summer camp and our regular living expenses, or I could leave this full-time job that necessitated the need for 3 kids in summer camp and be on my own. And I must have mathed that out, right? Spreadsheets. And of course I did. And was like, okay, there's this way that I could make this work. And I don't know that I can afford not to, was really where I got to. And there's a pit in your stomach. Well, people say they're going to support you. And I think any entrepreneur, any small business owner knows that feeling of like, people say my idea is a good idea. They say they'd, pay for that thing and that they'd support me. But of course everybody says that. And then you have to see if they're going to, right? And so, I remember like putting in my notice and making some real choices about what my life was going to look like in terms of the time that I spent with my kids and how I spent it, the fact that I was going to go finish my degree and commute to Orono. And it was, there was just this like royal in your stomach that just kind of like, okay, but I'm going to do it.
I think that's important. I think your history is so important to what you're doing now and the services that you're offering. Thanks. So that's important that people know that.
There are some people who are really fortunate who get to make the decision about like where to invest and whether they like start this new business or not, and they don't risk losing everything. Right. And that's amazing and good for them. But when the decision about whether to start something or not means how you provide for your family and there is no cushion, it really is a different set of circumstances to be considering. And yes, I think for folks who are trying to figure out how to approach a hard decision or how to make it through a decision they've made that was hard to make, knowing the person that they're working with has faced hard decisions before and understands the weight of them. I think it's actually a really important thing. Yeah. Thanks for lifting that up.
Absolutely. And we should let folks know, too, that you offer a free 60-minute consultation.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
I mean, who wouldn't, right? I guess is my absolutely. And for me, that is like, what is it that you want? What is it that you hope to achieve? Am I the best fit for that? Like there's some, I think entrepreneurs in particular, when I'm speaking to them, I don't want them to spend their scarce resources on my hourly rate if they can get that for free from an SBDC advisor or from a SCORE mentor. I really want people to be strategic about the time that they spend with me and invest it really intentionally. And so, like, I'm happy to spend an hour with somebody and say, let's figure out what you want. Let's figure out the best way to get there. And if you choose to work with me, here's the best place that I can intervene and be supportive. And here are all the other ways that you can meet some of your needs. I just think it's the right thing to do. I'm such a Girl Scout. I am just, what's an hour? And sometimes that hour is it's 1 hour out of many hours that I'm fortunate to have available. And for somebody else, that 1 hour is like, oh, that saved me 6 months of going down the wrong road. Yeah. What a gift. Here you go.
Right.
I'm glad to give it.
Right.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And folks can also hire you as a keynote speaker or for training services?
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to be up in the county in October doing a keynote event, which I'm excited about. But yeah, I think, depending on what folks want to know about, like I'll always be really good at saying like, that's not a topic that's meant for me. Here's some folks you might think about. But yeah, I think that, people enjoy hearing, I think, some of my backstory sometimes. And then other times folks will engage me to talk about specific content. So like my background, advocacy work, lobbying work, being able to speak to folks about process or good design for process, and then community engagement are all areas that I can speak to. I can speak to tough issues on leading with vulnerability, leading through crisis. Like those are all areas that I've spoken about publicly before, and I'm happy to again. Yeah.
Anything else about Project Tipping Point that you would like our listeners to know?
That's a great question. No, I mean, if you're not sure what you need, reach out and have a conversation. I think is a really clear scope of work and a cost estimate is one of the things that come out of an hour. If at the end of the hour there's a decision. Yeah, I've worked with consultants, and I know sometimes that can be like really scary, like the hourly rate that people charge, not knowing what the project or what you might work for you. And I don't think it serves anybody to be ambiguous about cost or project or milestones.
Right.
Like that's if there's a decision that you want to explore working together, you're going to be able to know in pretty short form what that looks like. So don't hesitate to ask.
Perfect.
Yeah. Take the mystery out.
Yeah.
All right.
That's nice as a small business owner or even someone in a high position like the CEOs and presidents that.
Yeah, you want to be able to budget and to know what you're going to get for it. I think that's important.
Where can folks go online to learn more about Project Tipping Point?
Yeah, gotippingpoint.com. You're welcome to go there. You can email me, Shanna, at gotippingpoint.com. I'm on Facebook, but it's not a place I'm super active. I'm not like blowing up my clients with what we're working on. Yeah, but you're welcome to check me out.
We mentioned earlier that you are running for public office.
Yeah.
What have you learned about that process?
Oh, it's a process question. It's a good one. Man, I think that the process of running for office should be clear. I have to say, has not always been clear. I think I think anyone who's paying attention to the Democratic process over the weekend to replace the U.S. Senate nominee for the Democratic Party could also you would probably get an earful on process and it being clear or not clear. So for me, I think the thing that I've learned most is, it's so funny because it's like a lesson that this universe has taught me a million times, and I've gone back to it. Like, why have I not learned it? And why do I have to keep getting taught that lesson is, I think, one of the questions. But honestly, when you're trying to run for office, the process is be really clear about what you're trying to achieve and engage people that want that to work with you. Do not assume that there's an apparatus or a clear process, or like whatever might exist or you hope exists or thinks exists from that. I mean, maybe it does. But the thing that's going to make you the strongest is to just be true to what you're trying to do. For me, it's really about representing I live in Lewiston. I'm running for Senate in Lewiston for state Senate. And for me, that means like really representing the community and advocating for state level policy that will benefit our community and hopefully others in Maine. And you can't represent people unless you know them. I have talked to 4,500 people. I have been knocking doors, multiple door shifts a week since like mid-January. And for me, I think the process is really like just connect with people. Yeah. Just connect with voters, regardless of party, regardless of age, regardless of what neighborhood they live in. I've covered the gamut, and I'm on my second run of going through all of the neighborhoods in Lewiston, and the conversations are the same at almost every door. I think that's one of the things that I've learned about the process is just there is an insane amount that we have in common. What we want for our kids and our grandkids, what we want for our community, what we're scared of, like whether it's, somebody who is the child of parents who are on retirement or on a fixed income, or people who are on a fixed income, they're scared of property taxes going up, and, what they're really scared of isn't a bigger bill. They're really scared of whether that bigger bill is going to mean that they can't stay in the house that they've had for 50 years. Yeah. Like, that's the fear, right? And whether you can, like, take care of your kids and make sure there's food on the table and continue to make, like, the electric payment and everybody shares these same basic concerns of like safety and stability. And, you know, for a world that when you're on social media or when you're maybe listening to family members talk around a holiday meal, it just sounds like we're so different and we're so divided and we're so against each other. And like, we're not. We're not. It's amazing how much alike that we are and how much we want the same things. And I think the thing that keeps surprising me about the process is that. And I wish it wouldn't surprise me anymore. But like, there's all of these reminders of like, I don't know, this and them and red and blue. And like, there's just this divisive narrative that we hear and are fed over and over again on any streaming service, any social media platform. And, you know, quite frankly, almost any grocery store line, you can like maybe hear that. And you just talk to people and you're like, oh, right, we're all on the same team, really, truly. Like we're on team like Better Tomorrow. And we all live right there in that space. And know people, you know, I talk to folks who might not align with some of my beliefs or, you know, on paper you might think that they don't. And I just, you know, I think if you're going to vote, you should have a chance to know me. And if you're going to be represented, whether you voted for me or not, then you should know how to reach me and to hold me accountable, because you know, everyone who's elected, certainly not everybody voted for that person. And I really genuinely believe that it's still that person's responsibility to represent everybody in their district, not just the ones who picked them. And that's a real intentional place to be. And there's some real choices that you have to make. Like if the majority of the people who live here believe a certain thing, and I disagree with that, what does it look like for me to represent them when I'm making policy and not just like the thing I care about the most? And I think it matters. And you certainly can't know that if you don't talk to people. Anyone can do it. You do not have to run for office to talk to other people like they might have something in common with you. I would encourage everybody to try it. Go ahead, please. Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit dirigofcu.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
Shanna, as you know, we close out the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions.
I live for it.
We've asked you so many random questions over the years. It's hard to find ones that we haven't, but I don't think we've ever asked you this one. Which of the 4 seasons is your favorite and why?
Oh, fall, because this body's a sweater body. This is my worst season that we're in currently. Give me a good layer or 2. I prefer it. I just love the reminder that things change and that there can be beauty in the change. Like all of the colors that you see in fall and the crispness in the air and those days that like it's got to chill in the morning, but when you sit in the sun, it just warms you to your core, but it's still only like 65. I live for that. I love fall.
All right. What would you consider the worst food of all time?
Ugh. Listen, people are going to be mad about this one. So my family's going to get, my family likes this food, and I like broccoli.
Really?
Yeah, but listen.
That's the worst of all time?
I've had blood sausage in Italy, too. And so, yeah, I said what I said. Broccoli. Listen, I have an allergy to sulfur. I think there might be a connection between the two in the way that some people like experience cilantro in a very like repulsive way. So like my family, when I'm gone, I'm like, tonight's a great night for chicken and broccoli Alfredo. Go nuts. Air out the house before I get home. But I like cauliflower, which I like to think is like, you know, broccoli's less repulsive cousin. I can do it, but I get broccoli to like my face. I don't even get a chance to taste it. And the smell is so strong and does something weird inside me that like, no thank you before it even.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Both raw and cooked?
Yeah. Huh. If there's somebody out there who can explain this to me and how I know it's healthy, I'd like to like it.
It's one of my go-to veggies.
I know. Yeah. Lots of cauliflower is like the other. I can't do broccoli.
All right, noted.
I hear it's good for you. I try.
All right, Shanna, final question for you. Which fictional workplace would you most like to work?
Oh, that's a good one. Sesame Street? Can I work on Sesame Street?
Of course.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like a general store or something?
Yeah.
Mr. Hooper. Didn't Mr. Hooper run?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it maybe just Miss Hooper's General Store?
Could have been. I'm not sure, but I know Mr. Hooper ran a store.
I'm
Because he was always
100%
wearing
in.
an apron, right?
Yes. I'd wear an apron.
Why not?
That sounds great.
All right.
Pockets. Aprons always come with pockets.
So you're working on Sesame Street.
Yeah. They get to have great conversations. You get to help people. It's a really diverse environment. I'm in.
It's a very interesting answer. I love it.
Yeah.
So who
I did go through a bunch of imaginary, like fictional kitchens, but I wouldn't want to actually. I've worked in a kitchen before. That is some hard work.
Kitchens are one that I thought.
It's good if you're just the taste tester in one of those kitchens,
Right.
But if you have to like peel the things or cook the things,
First thing I thought of was The Devil Wears Prada. So like,
oh,
but I mean, it doesn't
terrifying. Also bad work hours. I'm going back to Sesame Street. I feel like they have a 40-hour work week. Big fan.
All right. Now, let me ask you this because you piqued my curiosity. So you're working with Mr. Hooper in his store. You haven't had a customer for a little bit. Who are you most hoping walks through that door?
Oscar the Grouch.
Really?
Particularly if it's dead. Here's why. I love the personal challenge of taking somebody grouchy and getting them to like smile or give a little bit or like be happy by the end of an exchange. I'm getting a lot of this opportunity right now. It's very fulfilling. It truly is. And so like if it's not busy, I want Oscar and his trash can to wheel in because you don't walk a trash can.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. I want Oscar to show up in Mr. Hooper's store and like crankily ask for where something is in the store. And as I take Oscar to said aisle, I'm going to get Oscar to have a good day. I'm there for that so much. Yeah.
Shanna loves the challenge.
That was great.
Particularly people challenge.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if me winning my challenge means that you've got a better day ahead of you, then we both won that one, right? Like, that's a great thing. I'm in.
Awesome stuff, Shanna.
Oscar.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's really great to see you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for
good to
having me.
see
So appreciate you, and I'm so glad you remembered all the cues for the jingles and everything. It's like you never left,
It's
right?
I miss you all. Yeah, yeah. I get to listen to it at home and be like, "Oh, everybody, everybody, y'all are doing great." Yeah.
And we'll see you at the chamber events from here on out,
I
right?
know. I'm excited. I think I'm trying to. It's on my calendar, so I don't want Sam to get nervous if she hears me say this. But I think I'm introduced in August or October. I think it was
August
August,
breakfast.
right?
All right.
Great.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
Thanks.
Thanks to Rupert Beverage and Redemption for sponsoring today's episode. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.